Hello everybody, I've been wanting to give another update about the movie and about the VFX progress because I think it can be very educational for people looking to do this kind of stuff. And don't say I didn't warn you, because what I'm doing is pretty tough. So I think I'm in a interesting situation, I think. First of all, you know what just happened before I hit record? I was just about to film this. I had to move a light over here, and then I realized that there is a leak in the ceiling. And this is the third leak that I've had since the fall. And they're all in completely different places of the house. They're all completely unrelated from one another. So it's just a lot of bad luck, a lot of maintenance stuff in this house. Very common things if you know you have this kind of thing going on. But yeah, that's just the kind of thing that distracts me all the time, is just always having to clean up stuff and deal with house maintenance. I don't even know what the hell that is, by the way. Half the Genesis cases are ruined, whatever, but it sucks. But anyway, my daughter's doing really well. She is amazing. She is starting to walk, and she's going to be a year old very soon. And also, this summer is going to be the 10-year anniversary of the Angry Video Game Nerd. Can you believe it? And also, hopefully this year, we are going to have a movie. So there's a lot to celebrate. Anyway, first I want to tell you all about, there's the basics of the VFX, which I think, just to reiterate what I said in the December 2013 update. So if you look at the update from the end of last year, look at that, December 2013, and then that'll tell you, get you up to speed with this. But I'll reiterate some of that. Then I'll tell you everything that went on before VFX, all the organizing that went on before it. And now, what I'm actually doing now, what I've been spending the last 3 months doing, I'm going to tell you about the process of that. The bottom line is the movie, it just has a lot of VFX. It's visual effects, if I didn't clarify. It's any kind of effects that happen in post-production, anything that's done in computer, basically. It has more practical effects, really. Like a lot of, we have costumes, and we have animatronics, and lots of things that are in front of the camera, but a lot of the post work effects are things you're not really going to notice. A lot of times it's usually a lot of times it's sometimes they're actual things that are meant to be effects, like things that are meant to be seen, and other times they're meant to cover up something that we fucked up, basically. So like there's things to add and there's things to take away. If I'm going to break them into those two categories. The things to add are like explosions or stuff like that, or anything that wasn't done on set. And then things that take away are usually like we have this animatronic creature and we have a pole moving them around, and we got to take the poles out. It's like if there's no other way to shoot it. And then if you were to break that category up, the things to take away, then there's things that were never meant to be there. We just fucked up. So sometimes there'll be something that got in the shot that doesn't belong there, something we didn't notice, something that I'll see later, and then, oh shit, so add to the list, add to the VFX list. So then, and then if you were to make a third set of VFX work, I think that you'd maybe just call it comping. Just anytime there's something that needs to be added, anytime there's another layer to the scene, like if you have something that's on a green screen and then there's something that goes behind it, or there's like part of the screen where there's a monitor and you need to put something there. The big problem with the movie is just that there's too many VFX shots. It's very unrealistic what we went into, but we are getting through it. We are doing an amazing feat here. I've been updating. If you look every week, I've been posting. My bulletin board now is filled with VFX shots, where before it was filled with shooting, all the shots we needed to get in production. So if you keep looking at that, you'll see that we're chipping away, and that we're probably like 2/3 or 3/4 of the way through, something like that. So that's pretty good. So what's happening now is that we're finally done shooting, so now I've been able to focus on the VFX side of things. So I've spent the past 3 months full time on this. Every day I've been doing the VFX, hoping to get this movie done sooner than later. So before I can tell you what that's like, let me go back to the beginning, and we'll talk about what happened before and everything leading up to where I am now. When we shot on set, the way everything was organized was very simple. When we would fill up a card, because we would shoot onto an SD card, and once that card is full, somebody would run off and they'd capture it, and then we would have to record over on the card. We had many cards in rotation. There was more than one. There was actually more than one camera also. Usually one camera, but sometimes you would have two cameras on something, either if it was a special kind of thing, or sometimes we would split into two units, and somebody would be filming something different over here. Oh, get us like all the cutaways, get us the establishing shots, and then we would get the main stuff. So there are two cameras, and basically the way everything was captured, the first card would be called roll 1. Basically, it would just be A001, A for camera A, and then B would be B001. So it would go on. So we eventually, by the end of the first shoot, the first month in LA, that we got up to like 37 rolls or something like that. So that's how that all started. And while it's happening, we have a script supervisor on set who does a lot of work that's going to help you later on when you're in post. And a lot of what that is when you're shooting and the director says, like, you know, this is good. You know, usually on set you know what shot you liked the best. You know which take you like the best. So you could change your mind later, but a lot of times whatever you say on set, the script supervisor will make a note, and he'll keep track of a lot of things, actually, continuity and how much of the script you covered and everything like that. But basically where I'm getting to with all this is just that when you have the shots all organized, then we get to a point where we need some editors to do rough cuts for us, because it's so time consuming with so much footage. It's a lot easier for me to come in later and see a rough cut, you know, something rough edited. So when other people are doing it, then it's different than when you're editing by yourself and you just know exactly what you want to do. So what the editors will go by a lot of times is the script supervisor's notes. So they will match that up with the way it's meant to be assembled. It's basically like a roadmap of how to put the film together and what it all belongs in. And that's why you have scene numbers now. So I'm getting closer to the point I'm trying to make now. But you match... if you go back to the script, see, now I'm getting way off track. Now I'm going all the way back to the script, but I have to, I guess, because the script, you break it down where every scene is a different number. Every scene is usually a different location. Like usually whenever they move into a different room, or if time passes, then every time there's a new heading in the script, that's a new scene number. Sometimes that can get really confusing. Like if you're in a car and it's a driving scene and you see outside the car, then that's a new scene, but then you're back inside the car, it's a new scene again. So sometimes it's like you're just all over the place with these scene numbers. But anyway, now all those roles now have to be renamed again. Now they're being renamed to the numbers for the scenes, and then the numbers for the takes. And the numbers for the scenes, every time there's a new shot or a new setup, it would be a different letter. So if it's scene 73, we'd start with scene 73A and then scene 73B, and we would just go through the alphabet. And then if you go through the whole alphabet, which we do many times, then you do double letters. So it's double A, and you know. But then another thing is the audio is a completely separate thing. So the audio is recorded separately because we had lavalier mics, we had booms, we had all kinds of different setups for audio that were recording multiple tracks for all the different characters. So basically, to match that up, it's kind of a nightmare, actually. It took a long time, but we would have to, you have the slate in the beginning of the shot, and you'd match with the clap, which is, you know, it sounds simple enough, but when there's like so many shots, it's a time-consuming thing. But anyway, you're syncing up the audio with it, but you have to find which audio matches with it. So the audio log, you go by what the audio engineer on set made notes also, and he made notes of what takes were not good and stuff. So I mean, if it was not good, he would usually, you know, tell us, you know, we got to do that over again. You know, maybe a plane goes overhead or something, there's some kind of noise or a technical malfunction. But anyway, you have those notes, and you have to match those up with the script notes. And so eventually what you end up with is all these these shots that are all named with, like I said, the numbers and for the shots and numbers for the takes. Now I think we finally get to the VFX side. So this is when it becomes you're like ready to pull the hair out of your head, because now you got to rename them again. Because for the VFX artists, now we need to have a new numbering system for the effect shots. Now fortunately we only number the shots that are for VFX. Anything else we don't. But this would be something like, it would start with the scene number and then the shot number. So basically it would be like scene 140, so we'd put S140 underscore 100A. That'd be the first shot. Jesus, there's so much to explain actually, but we would start with 100, and then it would go 110, 120, 130, 140. It seems weird, why would you go in tens? But the reason is because sometimes we'll add a VFX shot, or something might happen. You might have to add something in between that you didn't expect. So then you go by fives. So you're basically just breaking it up. So hopefully you don't, you know, screw yourself and get too confused. Anyway, the letter though at the end is usually for if we have different layers in the scene. So if, say it's a green screen shot, the foreground element is going to have an A at the end, and then the background element is going to have a B. So they know which ones to put, you know, they know what to match up. And there can be multiple layers. So sometimes we end up with, we go to letter G sometimes. I think that's about as far as we got. No, actually, I think we got to K. Now that I think about it, there is a shot with K. It's crazy. So then we got to give all these shots. Once we have this all numbered and we have it all in our system, this is how many VFX shots we have. And then you start giving them to people to work on. Now, we basically just export out the shot that we want. We just give them just that one segment, which for two reasons really, because one is it's easier to upload that because it takes a long time to upload these long, we don't want to give them the whole raw clip, and also because we don't want them working on any part of the shot that they don't need to be, because then it's just a waste of time. And that actually brings me to another thing, is that you have to be really, you have to make a decision before any of this happens. So I have to be, you know, sure what I'm giving them before. So, yeah, so basically they get the shots, they get just that one part that we need, and then they also have to understand how the shots are meant to be put together. Like if they get all those different elements, they need to know how they all relate. So basically what I've done for the entire movie is I've done rough effects for the whole 2-hour film. So I would do rough keying, and I would have little titles on the screen that would explain, you know, this is a laser, so put this right here, and I'd have arrows and things showing like we want this going on here, and they'd get the sense of the timing and everything. So basically I would render out these little like rough cuts for the VFX artists, so they know what I have in mind basically. And now I think finally we're up to where I am now. So now I am focused completely on VFX. That is what I have been doing for 3 months now. I'm working with about 50 people all at the same time, which is crazy, and it's a very new thing for me. I'm best working alone, honestly. I'm just like, I was always a loner as a kid. I would just do my art all by myself, and then gradually expand it out and start working with people. But I was, you know, it's very new for me to be communicating with this many people all at the same time. So each day is a full-time thing, and I would split my days into 3 parts, basically. So the first part of my day is incoming emails, and then the second part of my day is outgoing emails. The third part of my day is anything I'm doing by myself, any shots I'm working on alone, and color correcting. And I'll get to all 3 of these steps now. So number 1, incoming emails. This is answering questions from anybody about the shots, looking at the progress and giving them feedback, and you know, telling, oh, you know, that's right, that's what we're looking for, or can you change this? That's not exactly it, or you know, very detailed instructions I have to give, because it's like a lot of times nobody knows the movie more than what's in your head, so you have to really be detailed. And Oh, no, and also I'm downloading shots from people, so they'll send me finished shots, and then big part of the day is downloading stuff. Downloading takes a while, and a lot of times when I'm downloading a shot and I'm waiting to give them feedback on it, I mean, usually at this stage it's done, but then I'll like go to the next email sometimes. So a lot of times I'm like finding things to do still while I'm downloading, because I don't want to just stop, and then it's like then I got to go back, and I'm just all over the place like every day. So as the shots finish downloading, then the next thing that happens, I have to convert them into Apple ProRes, because we're in Final Cut, and people are on Macs, people are on PCs, people are all over the world working on this movie, and people use different codecs and everything. So every day I'm like finding some new format that I've never heard of before, so I'm always converting them, and then editing the finished shots into the timeline is the final part of this first step of the day. So basically then I'll take the converted shots and everything, and I'll put them all into the edit, and then they're done. So then they're in the edit, and I think, yeah, then I move on to the second step, which is the outgoing emails. Now, the outgoing emails is assigning shots. So, basically, it's just like we have this list of shots that need to be done, and we have a list of people also. So, it's basically like give the shot to this person, give the shot to that person, and it's just spreading it all out amongst people so that hopefully this could get, because this is time-consuming stuff. So, somebody could take several months to do one shot, so then we get another shot to somebody else, so we keep everybody moving. And each time somebody turns in something and they're done, then I give them something else, so I keep them busy, keep everybody moving along. Then there's people who have been hanging on to shots for a while, so sometimes, like, if I don't hear from somebody in like a couple weeks, I'll just check in and say like, hey, how's that going and everything, and usually people are really good, getting back to you. But sometimes, on occasion, somebody, I don't hear back from for a while, like I don't know, like they probably got, wrapped up in life, or other distractions, or their job, so anything could happen, and I don't know what's going on in everybody's personal lives. So sometimes if I don't hear back from somebody for about a month, then I have to give the shots to somebody else, and we start over, unfortunately. And it's a tough thing to decide what shots to give to who, because like certain scenes, it might be like, okay, well, how do I divide this up amongst other people? It's the same scene, but it's a long scene, and it'll be really time consuming for one person to do it all. So you'll break it up. Like here, you get these shots and you get these shots, but then you got to get everybody all communicating and so that it looks the same, because you don't want to have inconsistencies where it looks like a totally different thing. And then every now and then there'd be an overlap, like maybe somebody worked on the same shot somebody else worked on, like you end up with two of the same thing. Happens sometimes, and it's a shame if you find that out, that somebody, did all that work for nothing, but, it happens. Really, really hard to organize all this, but for the most part it's going pretty smooth. And so that's the whole thing with working with people. Now when we get to the third step of the day, if I get this far, because usually just doing that that's at least 8 hours right there. So it can be up to 12 hours a day. So I'm really lucky if I get to this third step. This third step of the day is shots that I'm doing myself. So this is certain shots, or overall every work anything that I might want to do myself. Basically, it's like, so certain shots there might be something where it's easier just to do it myself than to explain it to somebody else. Like if it's something that's simple enough where, okay, the time it'll take them to give them all the files they need and to explain this all, it's sometimes simpler just to do it on my own. So I'll do some of that, and then I do edits, you know, I'm like making last minute trims. Sometimes as soon as you see an effect come in and then it's in the timeline, now all of a sudden you realize, oh wait, you know, the timing of this is actually not, you know, it could be trimmed a little or something. So sometimes little changes, sometimes a shot will go out of order or whatever. Uh, so that's another thing, is the last minute editing. Then there's color correction. So color correction is just the final look of the movie. Sometimes it's for mood. Sometimes like it's a night shot and you want to have it, you know, looking like a night, like bluish kind of thing. Or sometimes it's like a sunset, you know. There's a lot of things for mood, but then also it's just in general, like if you can make the shot look better, then why not? So every shot can look better. Sometimes I have to separate different parts of the shot to color correct, so it isn't as simple as just put one thing on it. Sometimes you gotta like isolate one area of it, and but it's also my favorite part of the day, because when I'm color correcting, that's when everything starts to quiet down a bit. That's when I'm just alone in my own world. I get to listen to music, and I just zone out, and I just color correct. But you know, I think in general that the rate I'm going with it, because it's something I'm doing myself, I have an idea of how long it's taking, and I've been keeping my eye on the clock. I think basically every hour that goes by, I seem to be able to color correct a minute of the movie. It's a 2-hour movie, and if I'm lucky, I seem to only get like 1 hour a day to color correct, and so that means 120 days, doesn't it? So, but the good thing is I'm already halfway through that, so I probably need about 60 hours left to finish color correcting. So somewhere I'm going to be able to squeeze that in. And also, as more VFX shots come in, then I need to color correct those. So that's kind of, you know, that's included in all that. So anyway, like I said, the status of the movie, I'll just end with the status now. Now that I told you that complicated process, I hope I explained it good enough. Really, I should have wrote a more comprehensive script, but it takes a while to get all that down. So you keep looking at my updates every week with the bulletin board, and we're tearing VFX shots off the list. The next big mountain to climb is sound design, and I don't even know what that's going to be like yet. But hey, you want to help with sound design? Help at avgnmovie.com. Send an email, and if you've already sent an email to that, don't worry. I just haven't looked at them yet because I've been so busy on the VFX. So if you send already, then you know, don't worry about it. But you know, it can't hurt. It can't hurt to, you know, send an email and tell us what, you know, just give us an idea how, you know, how you work and everything. And the bottom line is lots of people have been working their asses off to get this movie done, and it's hard to stop when, you know, we're making so much progress. So if you haven't seen much from me lately, things are quiet on my end. It's just because I'm working on this. I'm trying to get this done. And for all the VFX artists who are working on this, thank you so much, because you are the heroes right now. So anyway, back to work.